So we all know what time it is. It's time for a monthly wrap up. So let's just get started. Let me put on my jewelry first because I can't do nothing without them. We cannot forget the energy drink. It's like tradition by now. Today we got Alani with the juicy peach. Yeah, this one's good. I like this one. Anyways, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and you already know by the title what we're doing, so let's just get right into the video. Let's just start off with the statistics. So in the month of July, I read 2 romance, 2 mystery, and 8 fantasy, and that all comes to a total of 12 books. So by far this year, this has been my best reading month so far, and I've completed literally 90% of my TBR that I planned out for myself. So this has been a really good reading month, and I read a lot of fantasy. So let's just get started with the first book that I read. The first book that I read this month was People With Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. This book really shocked me and amazed me. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I gave this a 5 stars. So we started off the month with a really big one. I was not expecting. This was actually the one that I was dreading to read the most because I feel like I've always heard mixed opinions on it, but that's also the thing with Emily Henry. I feel like her books are very specific, and not everyone's gonna love a book that you loved, and they may love a book that you hate, and that's just the thing with Emily Henry. Each and every one of her books are just so specific, I feel like, to each type of person. So this one is definitely one of my favorites by her. But anyways, in this book we follow the story of Poppy and Alex. This is a friends to lovers, but they met each other in college, so it's not childhood friends to lovers, but it's still a friends to lovers. In the beginning of the book, we kind of see that they don't really talk anymore, and then Poppy, she comes up with an idea to go vacation, and then she invites Alex over to go with her. I think that's what it was. Honestly, the beginning, I was kind of I didn't really understand some of the stuff that was happening, but that's what I got from it. They go on the vacation together, and it's the place is so bad, the AC's not working. Even before their relationship, I really appreciated their friendship too. That's actually the highlight of this book because they're so funny together. Poppy is so funny, and then she gets Alex on board too. And believe it or not, in the beginning of this book, I actually did not like Alex. I don't know. I just thought he was this grumpy dude that just didn't like anything, and I thought that was annoying. But then throughout the book, we actually got to see him for who he actually was, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand now. So yeah, this was just really fun. The setting is not my favorite because it's not an aesthetic beach or lake setting. It's a messy hotel, but that was the fun of it. Just the fun adventurous times they had together. And of course with Emily Henry, we always get the flashbacks. She knows how to do that so well. She doesn't just tell you, she actually shows you. And yeah, 5 stars. One of my favorite books this year. Then after that, I read Assistant to the Villain. This was a book I picked up, I think it was last year I picked it up, either last year or this year. I saw one of the booktubers talking about it, and I was like, oh, that seems really fun. I read it, I enjoyed it. It was a fun time, just People With Me on Vacation. But did I love it? No. This was a 3 stars, by the way. Female main character is just such a fun time. The villain though, that's the thing. I feel like the villain isn't he's presented as this really dark villain, and he's the villain, you know? But I didn't get that vibe from him, and I know he has a past, and deep down he's a sweetheart, or deep down, he's a good person. But I feel if he's presented as the villain, if everyone in the land is scared of him, I should be scared of him too. But I still like his character. If I can describe this book to you, I would say it's a lot like Shrek, the movie. If you guys have ever watched Shrek, do you know that Shrek is super satire? In the fantasy setting, it's medieval time period. I might continue this series. I think it's a duology. And then after that, I read Summer Romance. This was a 4 stars. Was it a 4? I believe this was a 4 stars. Yeah, 4 stars. So it was really peaceful. I love the characters, especially the female main character. Her female main characters are just the best and the most realistic and relatable. I appreciate that about her books. Her books aren't always just romance, and this is my second book by hers, but I can already tell that her books aren't just like pure romance. It's a contrast between women's fiction and romance. So I love that we get a lot of the focus on the female main character as well, and not just like on their relationship. I would say their relationship is a huge side plot, and like we really just focus on her and her monologue and like her issues. This book follows the story of Allie. Allie just got divorced and she's just trying to find her way through life, basically. She does have 2 children, so the children are going through it a bit. So one day she takes her dog to a dog park, and then her dog pees on the stranger's foot, and it turns out to be the male main character. Ethan just laughs it off. He's like, no biggie. And yeah, from there on they just create this friendship. We also see a bit of Ethan's problems as well, and they kind of just bond through that. I love the setting of this. The writing is absolutely beautiful. I feel like Annabelle Monaghan, her books are very simple, but her writing is just so good that she executes that very well. I just love this book, and I can't wait to read more of her books. Up next, I read The House on the Cerulean Sea. I rated this book a 4 stars. I loved it. This book is the definition of found family, and if you know me, I love found family. It's just so comforting. It's like a warm hug. But in this book, we follow the story of Linus Baker. He's a middle-aged man, and he's working at a job, and he's kind of like, man, what am I doing here? He doesn't like his job. But then one day he gets this job. He has to monitor this orphanage to make sure the kids are safe. But when he gets there, he sees that these aren't just like any regular kids. These kids are like different. It's just kind of like chaos when he first arrives. In the beginning of the book, he's really just like serious, and he's just there for his job. He doesn't really want to form any connections or relationships. He's just like there because he has to, and he's a rule follower. And then throughout the book, we see that he forms like connections with the kids, and we all just like see the kids and get introduced to their characters, see their story. It was so cute. The kids were the highlight of this book, no doubt about it. And then after I read A Cord of Wings and Ruined. I actually was in the middle of this book, but I put it down, and then this month I decided to pick it back up again and just finish the book. This is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series, and war is happening. A lot of stuff is happening. There's a lot of war planning. There's a lot of fights. There's a lot of new discoveries, and just like after the way the 2nd book ended, we see like some of the side characters going through that, and I gave this a 4 stars. It might come close to a 5 stars, but I don't know, the way that I stopped reading this book and then went back to it, I feel like I could have gave it a 5 stars if I just read the whole thing straight, because I did forget a few things. In books like these, you're bound to forget a bunch of stuff. I watched like a whole summary video on it, but it helped me like really enjoy this series a lot more, because my mind is very much still refreshed on a bunch of the things that happen. And right after I read that book, I hopped right on to A Court of Frost and Starlight. This is the novella of the series. It's basically just a breather from all of the books before. I rated this a 4 stars. It was so close to a 5 stars. This is basically just like a Christmas story. It's not called Christmas in this world, but it's literally just like Christmas. So basically they're celebrating that, and we actually do see other point of views from this book. So we see Cassian's point of view, we see Moore's point of view, and obviously Feyre's and Rhysand's. We just get a lot of like side stories throughout the book. It's just a fun, good time. The setting of snow, I love that. And just like the warm Christmas feeling, even though it's not called Christmas, it still gave me that like festive holiday feeling in the middle of July. So we start off the book by seeing Feyre and her wanting to do everything and wanting to help everyone in her court because she is the High Lady, so she wants to be the best High Lady that she can. But everyone around her is like, girl, you need a break. So that's sort of her process, and we just see everyone else's. It's just a fun, good time. After that, I read A Court of Silver Flames. Look, I was on a Sarah J Maas high this month. I was not playing around. I was like, I'm gonna get through this whole series. That is my goal. My motivation for completing this series was the announcement for her 6th book. I think we're getting Elaine's story. I rated this a 3.8. Yeah, 3.8 stars. And this was like so different from the Sarah J Maas that I know. And it just didn't feel like her writing for some reason. This one was more cozy than the other ones. And I know it's like after the war, but I don't know. Still, I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. I binged this whole book in like 2 days, I think. I just think that it was really different from her writing. This is from Nesta's point of view, and it's also written in 3rd person. I actually really love 3rd person. I don't mind if it's 1st person or 3rd person. I don't mind. Loved seeing Nesta's story. And then there was also friendship. Nesta made some new friends, and I love that for her. Moving on to the next one. I read Assassin's Blade. I gave this a 4 stars. This is the prequel to Throne of Glass series. Also, can we just talk about how I started this series? Can we get a round of applause for me? I actually made it a goal for myself. I said if I finish ACOTAR, I can start the Throne of Glass series. If you didn't know before, there's like this whole thing on the internet with the reading order of the series, because Throne of Glass, it was the first published in the series. We have Throne of Glass, the first story, Crown of Midnight, the second one, and then this one was published 3rd, but it's a prequel, so it's the story of Selena's past. So it acts as the first book, but you can also read it 3rd since it was published 3rd. I did my research. I was like doing the pros and cons list, and I was like, I think reading this first is the best option for me, and I don't regret a single thing. I say if you start this series and you're confused, just do the research for yourself, do the pros and cons list like I did, and select the one that you think is best for you personally. Like if someone's saying read it 3rd, no, you have to read it first. No, just ask yourself, which one do I think I'll like? I really liked reading this first because as someone who really needs to understand things, like if I don't understand something, my brain just keeps on asking the same question over and over again, and just like I keep wondering about that. So this really helped me because in the first book, Throne of Glass, she mentions a lot about her past, and just like reading this and already knowing this stuff, I was like, yay, I know what she's talking about. So yeah, I read it first, loved it. Now let's get to the actual like rating. So basically this is obviously Selena Sardathian's past, and we see a lot of separate stories. So we see her in one place, she's doing one thing, and then we see another story and she's doing another thing. If you want more specific, this is the first story, The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, and then it hops on to another story, The Assassin and the Healer. We basically just get like a lot of side stories that really builds up to like her final point, to where she gets in Throne of Glass. We get introduced to a lot of side characters that are actually important, I would say. It was fun. Some of the stories I found a bit boring, but some of them I found fun. After that, I read Throne of Glass. I wasn't lying when I said I was on a Sarah J Maas high. Now this is the like first book, basically. Now this one I rated a 4 stars as well. It's a really good introduction to her character and to the, you know, world and the world's building and the politics and like all of that. Also, I think I forgot to mention this, Selena's supposed to be like the best assassin in the land, basically. So the king asked her to work for him, but in order for her to like actually work for him, she has to go through these trials, and there's a bunch of other assassins, and so we just follow that story. We see her training and going through the tests. We also get introduced to a lot of important side characters. This was a good introduction to the series. After that, I decided to take a little break from the series, and I decided to read Good Girl, Bad Blood, the second book in Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I gave this book a 4 stars. I loved it. One thing about this series that I love is it really embodies that 2018 vibe. Now in this story, we just follow Pip and her journey with a new case. She's solving that, but she's also like kind of traumatized from her last case. In the beginning of the book, we see that she's like, no more cases. I'm not playing detective anymore. Then something comes up and she decides to to take another case. It's basically kind of like the first book, but the sequel. It's still really good. We see a lot of Ravi and Pip, and they're just so cute. Also, Pip has a podcast, so she's like always updating her audience on what's happening. So she has an audience, and everyone's kind of like watching her do this case, because not like the first case where it was just her and her friends. This one, she has a whole audience. She has a whole world like watching her, or listening to her. It's a lot more riskier because like who knows who's listening to her podcast, you know. A really good sequel. I love this series, and I love Pippa. Pippa is such an inspiration. Oh my gosh, girl inspires me to be that girl and just go and do smart things. Second to last, I finally went into the third book in the series, Crown of Midnight. This one was so good. I don't remember my rating. 4 stars. Basically all the books I read was 4 stars, but this one was my favorite from the 3 that I've read. I feel like the books progressively get more interesting and like heavier and a lot more action packed. But in this one we see that Selena is finally the king's assassin, so that's cool. I don't really know how to explain this book without giving spoilers. I don't want to give any type of spoilers, but this one is more action-packed. There are some mysteries. Of course, the side characters that we see in the first book are here. Love them. Compared to the first book, we really see another side of her in this one, and I wasn't expecting to see that side of her. There were a lot of mysteries and some plot twists. The books just get progressively more and more interesting. We see a lot more of the politics and the world building. I'm so excited to read Heir of Fire. I literally can't wait to continue the series. Now, last but certainly not least, As Good as Dead, the third and the final book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I finished this morning actually, and oh my gosh, this was an absolute 5 stars. It was a lot more dark, and just like in Crown of Midnight, we saw another side of Pip's character. And the way this book ended, I'm just gonna be delusional and just like act like that never happened. Anyways, Pip is just more and more traumatized each book. She's a lot more traumatized from her last case and how that ended. She also has a potential stalker. I feel like some stuff happened I didn't really understand. There's a lot of like characters mentioned in this book because there are just so many suspects, and I was just like, who is this person? We see Pip is really emotionally struggling, and she has PTSD. She has so much PTSD and trauma that she has to take pills to fall asleep because she can't fall asleep. She just keeps hearing things and just thinking about the past a lot. Like whenever she hears a certain noise, that really triggers her. I'm not sure if it's Ravi or Ravi, but seeing Ravi just like try and help her and just doing the best that he can for her is just so sweet, but it's also really like bittersweet. It's so different from the first book. I love this one. 5 stars. Was this the second 5 stars of this year? I mean, this month? I think this was the second 5 stars of this month. Oh, that's fun. I didn't really notice that until now, but yeah. Those were all the 12 books I read this month. This was such a good reading month. Insane. I hope August is just as good, maybe even better. I don't think it's gonna be better than this one, but like I hope it's still good. But yeah, that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.